Good afternoon, everyone. I am so very thankful to be here with you today. I am Keia Isaacson, co-founder and CEO of Lakeside Floor Coverings. For those of you in the room who have previously met me, you may know me as Keia like the car. The IRS knows me as Keia Isaacson. Some of my employees call me Boss Lady. My Uncle David calls me Chocolate. He always loud. My hope is that after today, many of you will just know my story as inspiring. And now that you know my many names, I also plan on sharing with you a little bit more about who I am, how I got to be here, and some of the things I've experienced on this journey called life. I am privileged to share my life with three amazing men: my husband, Phil, my oldest son, Darren, who just turned 24, and my youngest son, Caden, who is soon to be 8. I know y'all trying to do that math. No, I'm not that old. I'm permanently 29-ish. And yes, that is a 16-year gap between Caden and Darren. Surprise! And yes, Caden is our surprise baby, but not for the reasons you may be thinking. See, Phil and I, we experienced some challenging pregnancies. And I raised Darren, but I'm not his biological mother. I joined him in his father's life when he was 2. Phil's and I's first pregnancy, unfortunately, ended with a stillbirth. That was followed by 5 miscarriages. And after 6 failed pregnancies, I really wanted to give up. My mother and husband urged me to try again, and number 7 was our surprise. So before I got in this great state of Minnesota, I was born and raised in Hammond, Indiana, by my mother and my grandmother. These 2 strong women instilled in me some very important values. One of those lessons is life is not fair. This is so true. And I felt like I've been dealt some unfair hands at life, and I'm certain some of you feel that same way. What I've learned is that when life is not fair, it is in those very moments that you get to determine who you are as a person. When life is unfair, will you give up, or will you continue to fight? Another lesson I learned is that there is no such thing as can't. Even when the odds are stacked against you, you can still win. There is no such thing as can't. Life is unfair hit me right as I graduated from high school. I had all the intentions of going to Tennessee State University, and I had done my part. I had worked hard to ensure a road to college. I got the grades. I aced the ACTs. I was a winning athlete. I collected the scholarships. And still, I was not able to make that dream a reality. Life can be unfair. But later that very same year, I met that husband, and I got my first job in corporate America. I was now employed by Dayton Hudson. For those of you in the room who are a little younger, that's Target. I was employed there for 11 years, and I worked, sometimes 2 jobs. I parented, and I went to school all at the same time. I can imagine someone's used to that pace as well. There were days that I would go to work, leave work, and go to some school recital or ceremony in the middle of the day, go back to work, finish my work, then I got to go home, do your typical wife and mother stuff, and when everyone finally went to sleep, I got to stay up all night to write a college paper. And then I started the same race again the very next day. And after functioning at this unbearable pace for several years, I started to feel unmotivated. And I was just plain tired. And I began to tell myself, I'm not sure I can do this. And it got harder and harder for me to get out of bed every day. I struggled along until I physically couldn't do it anymore. That's when I talked to my husband, and I said, I need to quit my job and find something a little bit more fulfilling. He is so loving that he supported my decision. And when I think back, quitting my job was right after that 5th miscarriage. And I remember having a broken heart. But it's very possible that I was suffering from postpartum depression. So now I'm feeling like a complete failure and thinking, did I make a mistake? Because I quit that very stable job in the beginning of what I didn't know was an economic decline. And I'm jobless and hopeless. I have no longer have the ambition to work for anyone. So my husband and I came to the decision that we would start our own business. Now, to this day, I have no idea how that ended up being a flooring company. Nor do I know how we convinced our cousin Bruce to go on this suicide mission with us. Thank you, Bruce. And thus began the next chapter of our lives, right? Myself, Bruce, and Phil were voluntarily unemployed, and we're owners of a flooring company. Phil and Bruce are going to be the skills, and I'm going to be the brains to run this operation. Boy, did they have a lot of faith in me. We started this little venture from nothing. I know you all have heard of the term bootstrapping. Well, I'm not sure we had boots to strap. Bruce and Phil started their jobs working out of an old Sanford & Son style pickup truck, using old tools that they bought from pawn shops. And I was running the operations of our business on my old college laptop in the basement of our home. Who puts a depressed woman in the basement? I avoided that basement as much as I could and volunteered to go out and work in the field and install and sand wood floors. Now remember, you guys, we started this business in a recession, so it was slow to earn an income. And there were many times during these years I think we all thought, we can't do this. But we struggled along. We used our grit, our credit, and all of our savings until we got that first paycheck 2 years into the business. We got so happy about that paycheck, we had a surprise baby. Our company slowly grew, but it seemed like every time we got rolling, we hit a little bump. We started to book some nice-sized projects, and then we didn't get paid for them. Costly mistake. We didn't understand how to legally protect ourselves for a better chance at payment. But we kept chugging along, and now we can hire some employees. Bump. I did not exactly understand all of the reporting rules, so I quickly hired a professional for that. And as we approached year 5, my business partners and I were like, what's next? What should we do next with our company? And I started to research a local program called Planet. It's put on by the city of St. Paul. One of the facilitators there, her name is Claudia. And it was through this program that a couple key things happened. I wrote a new business plan. And through writing that plan, I thought of several ways we could expand our business. And secondly, Claudia became a great connection for me. She had successfully owned her own woman-owned commercial construction company, so she understood our business and its challenges, so she was a great help. Claudia introduced me to the trade association, the Association of Women Contractors, where I met a lot of people who were eager to help me, who all became connections for me. A connection to me is a link. It's a lifeline. It's who you call when you have no idea where to go. It's where you go when you need a fresh idea. People you call when you feel like you can't. So after the Planet program, a major idea happened. Let's open a retail store. Claudia thought this was a horrible idea because we were still in the recession. She definitely had our best interest at heart. So there's no such thing as can't, right? Phil and Bruce, they supported this decision. In fact, they're the ones who went out and found the place that our business is located at today. Most importantly, I was out of the basement. And now I have a new store, and I'm in over my head. See, with the new store came an expansion of businesses and services. We're gonna offer all these new type of flooring services that I have no idea about. The only thing I know about carpet is fuzzy side up. But wait, I have all these new connections. So whenever I felt stuck, I just called one of my connections. I called up our sales reps all the time. I called them so much, this is how I call them. Hi, this is Keia, your favorite flooring girl. Do you have time for me? Because I have some questions. I still call them like that today. But we struggled along, and we're building these new lines of business and operating a store. And then I started making some mistakes. More than I care to admit. Mistakes like understanding the sales and use tax laws, or running low on cash because you don't have cash flow projections, or understanding that small print on those contractor agreements. I got that feeling again. I can't do this. But despite all of these mistakes, our company kept growing. And again, we got to the point where we said, what's next? One of those connections called, and they told me about the WomenVenture Scale-Up program. The Scale-Up program is designed to scale established women-owned businesses. And to qualify, your business had to meet some criteria. Be in operation for 5 years or more, gross over $500,000 in sales, and be committed to creating exponential growth. So here it is again, with education being that tool to help me moving forward. I applied to the Scale-Up program, and I was accepted. I left that Scale-Up program being able to read financial statements and know I need to fire my accountant. I had a greater understanding of how to evaluate my business and identify opportunities for growth. And I was introduced to over 20 new connections. About 3 years later, after completing that Scale-Up program, I'm here today. And I am so grateful because I don't know where we'd be without that program and without Women Ventures. When I was asked to share my story with you all and be a keynote speaker, I was caught off guard. I thought, why me? I hadn't accomplished anything special, nor had I been picture perfect in business. In fact, I had made a lot of mistakes. But that is when I was reminded of a few key facts. 70% of all businesses fail within 10 years. Women-owned companies have an average of 1 employee. And the average earnings of a small business is $500,000 a year. For women-owned businesses, that number goes down to $130,000 a year. And after considering these statistics, I realized that, in fact, I had done something special. I had imperfectly navigated our company down a road to success. And when I think about how I truly got here, the answer is this: I tried some things. And when I failed, or when I became stuck, I did not believe in can't. Instead, I educated myself, or I reached out to a connection. And the results of me not giving up, not expecting life to be fair, believing that there is no such thing as can't, our company gainfully employs 13 employees. We outlasted the recession and are headed into our 12th year of business. And we are a multi-million-dollar woman-owned business. So my advice to you all is to go out and make some mistakes. Let those mistakes be your motivation. Understand that life is not fair. You just have to keep going. Make some connections and be a connection to others. These connections are the fuel you need to keep moving, to put your feet on the floor when times are hard. And most importantly, I want you all to believe that there is no such thing as can't. I am so grateful for the Women Ventures program. I'm so grateful for Women Ventures' help, and I know that others feel the same way. We have a video here of a few clients saying thank you. Can we start that video? Before I go, thank you all, and thank you, Women Venture.
Big thank you to Women Venture for giving women like myself opportunities to have other opportunities and doing the priceless and meaningful work that you do every day. Thank you.
I would not have Art Lab Rx without the help of Women Venture. So thank you very much, Women Venture.
Thank you, Women Venture, for your dedication to female entrepreneurs, for believing in us when sometimes we need that reminder, and for your generosity and what you do in the community.